Welcome to the quietest ones in the room with your host, Trey. I gotta say it, just the mere fact that you have clicked onto this video and you're listening to the sound of my voice, you by far are the most intelligent people on the face of the planet. So once again, thank you for joining me. JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon recently emphasized that the United States should prioritize stockpiling military assets and rare earth materials over accumulating Bitcoin. Now, did you know that the Trump administration was looking to accumulate more Bitcoin by establishing a national Bitcoin reserve? Maybe you did, maybe you didn't, but now you know. Did you know that there's a lot of chatter in the media right now regarding the military of the United States of America possibly having conflict with China? I actually recently just heard Peter Hegseth make a remark that China, it's looking like an imminent attack would be taking place on Taiwan. Maybe you believe it, maybe you don't. But Jamie Dimon has a message to all of us about what we should be focusing on. And I want to cover some of that. And I want you to come to your own conclusions about what you think regarding this topic. Are we spending too much time worrying about the Haktua coin or the Trump coin, Dogecoin, whatever coin, Bitcoin? Are we spending too much time on that rather than focusing on what Jamie Dimon believes is most important for our national security? So a few key points that Jamie Dimon made while he was speaking at the Reagan National Economic Forum. He made a critique, as I mentioned, of the Bitcoin reserves. He criticized the Trump administration's initiative to establish a national Bitcoin reserve and just talked about altogether how ineffective a security measure it is. He suggested that the U.S. should focus on practical resources such as guns, bullets, tanks, planes, drones, and as I mentioned earlier, rare earth minerals, materials like tungsten. And it's an interesting take because Jamie Dimon often comes off as a doomsdayer. He's one individual you can count on as a CEO to paint a dire picture of where the United States is and what must be done to protect it. And always what is imminent, whether it's a crash about to happen or a recession, Jamie Dimon is a doomsdayer. And here he is saying, instead of focusing on Bitcoin, let's stockpile guns, bullets, tanks, planes, and drones. Now, if we recall from the pandemic, it was discussed then because American citizens found out for the first time how reliant we were on other countries and how we had just shipped so much of our manufacturing away to other countries for our most vital assets. And so, yeah, we would need, if we're going to go to war, we would need to be able to manufacture bullets at an alarming rate, especially if we were going to go to war with a country like China. And as of recent, between Trump and Putin and those conversations, according to the media, getting heated, Who's to say that there can't be a war between the U.S. and Russia? Not through a proxy like Ukraine, but head to head. One would hope not. But if so, Jamie Dimon's point would certainly be important to take seriously. So Jamie Dimon went further with his concerns over defense readiness. He highlighted the limited duration of U.S. missile reserves and potential conflicts such as those in the South China Sea to underscore how we must be better prepared than we currently are. And once again, during the pandemic, we realized much of how we're unprepared for so many conflicts and situations that could take place in this country, or if we get involved with other countries during a conflict. Jamie Dimon went on to make remarks that we need to focus on internal challenges. He expressed a greater concern about internal issues facing the United States, including governance, inefficiencies, regulatory burdens, and a falling and failing public service atmosphere. Rather than focusing on countries like China. Now, that's easy to say, but there are times when Jamie Dimon has been focused on China. And the Trump administration, for better or for worse, whether you like what Trump has been doing or you despise what he's been doing, the reality is we have not yet experienced any physical altercations with China. We've had a lot of talking. We've had the so-called trade war. I call it a tug of war. And I've come to this idea in my head about what tariffs have truly stuck. There's so many discussions about tariffs. I don't know what's in place and what's not. I don't know what's been removed, what's still on the books. I don't know anything that's going on regarding the tariffs. I know that they said that there have been billions of dollars collected from the tariffs, but I don't know. It seems messy to me. But maybe you know more than I do. But to Jamie Dimon's point, shouldn't the U.S. focus on its internal challenges and needs and come up with solutions like bringing manufacturing back to the United States to make the things that we need to better ourselves and to strengthen ourselves during any possible conflicts? The answer to that is of course. So he's calling for reforms in taxation, immigration, education, healthcare, and more. And so I don't have any issues with what he said in that regard. I think that many of us do want to see reforms that strengthen the United States, strengthens the middle class, strengthens the working class, uplifts many people out of poverty. We need, obviously, increased wages in this country. And I think with all those things working in tandem, you certainly get a better atmosphere and a stronger economy. And so he said we need to focus on preserving global leadership. And that's one of the things you hear so often with these CEOs who are at the top of their game running these large institutions and companies. They harp continually on the reality that the United States needs to preserve its global leadership. And they all have different opinions as to how to do this. But Jamie Dimon warned that without being a preeminent military and economic power, the U.S. risk losing its position as the reserve currency. Now, I would agree with him on that, but we're so far away from the idea of the United States not being a reserve currency. Everyone in the world transacts with the dollar. And I often hear this idea of the dollar crashing or BRICS overtaking the US dollar. And it's just not the case. Many countries, even like you take China as an example, they have debts that are in the US dollar and they pay debts with US dollars. And many countries do this all over the place. And essentially, I don't see any scenario anytime soon where our government really needs to be concerned with the United States not being the reserve currency. There isn't anything better. So if Jamie Dimon is saying what he's saying, which is be stronger militarily and economically, we'll maintain our position, and that would hinder China from taking dominance from us or keep China at bay and Russia at bay from trying to attack us. Of course. This is common sense. But here we are, we're really going into the middle of the year now. And as we go into the middle of the year, I'm predicting that the China war conflict conversation will ratchet up. Because it seems to me that every year, as we get into the middle of the year and people start to take vacation and they're taking, their families to and fro and people just enjoying life, it seems as if the media likes to stir up war conversation at the most inopportune time when you're really just trying to relax and enjoy your life. And so I'm not surprised with the Peter Hegseth comments as of recent that China is looking to imminently attack Taiwan. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? We'll see. But I am still focused as a regular everyday person on the things that I need to take care of in my regular life, my bills. So I'm concerned with housing prices. I'm concerned with the vehicle prices, the gas prices, the food prices. And I didn't hear Jamie Dimon address any of that wholeheartedly. And what I mean, focus intently as the CEO of JP Morgan and Chase about the regular everyday person's issues and how those need to be resolved as a part of the internal challenges to make this a stronger country. So, I don't know. I think Jamie Dimon, once again, is proving that he is knowledgeable. He is a very knowledgeable CEO of a great bank. But once again, this is a rich person missing the mark on what truly matters right now in this space and time. Which to me is the working class, the middle class, being the focus, being the group that, if taken care of, strengthens this country. We don't need more guns, more bullets, more tanks, planes, drones. We have these things. I mean, everybody, I think, understands that we are the greatest military power in the world. And so to say that we need more of the same for this military industrial complex to get more funding is just a play that we've seen before. Giving more money to the wealthy, that doesn't help regular people. Giving more money to these wealthy contractors for the government, it doesn't help regular people. Giving money to the oil companies, it doesn't really help regular people. So it sounds like that's what Jamie Dimon's pitch is. Don't focus on Bitcoin. Focus on pumping money into the areas where there's already a gridlock of wealth that shuts everyone out. And let's just keep doing that to make ourselves stronger and not focus on the middle class, the working class, and the poor. It's silly. And it's so expected from these people who I always say are so wealthy and out of touch. They sit in these high-powered positions. They've been there for so long. They don't care about you. They don't even think about you. They think about their buddies who put money into their pockets, take them out to eat at expensive restaurants, let them fly around in their private jets, and you get cut out every step of the way. So if I am going to sum up everything Jamie Dimon is saying, it's, hey, let's not focus on the have-nots. Let's focus on those who have. But after all, he's the CEO of JP Morgan Chase. So anyway, please share your thoughts in the comment section. Do you agree with Jamie Dimon? Do you disagree? What should we really be focused on in this country? Are we going to go to war with China? Is it all just smoke? You let me know in the comment section. Please like, share, and subscribe. I want to thank each and every one of you once again for taking the time to listen to what I have to say and engaging. I always appreciate it. You keep me motivated. You have no idea how wonderful it is to know that you have taken your time to spend with me on this channel. So thank you once again. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, until next time.